Now this is the same slide which is very important and showing you that how exactly you can get the information and you can go for the agile methodology here. Now when we are talking about this diagram here, you can see that we are talking about 3 weeks of sprint and 3 weeks of these releases. Now the 3 weeks of sprint means that you have to do everything right from the build to the deployment in this particular 3 weeks time duration, right? So these 3 weeks of sprint will definitely help the organization to perform the right from the build, from the coding to the deployment, and everything will needs to be done into this specific time duration of 3 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. These are the standard time durations of the sprints in case of agile. So agile was pretty much focused only on the development perspective, and it was only improving the overall development processes. But again, agile alone is not sufficient for the organization. They have to go with the DevOps implementation, because DevOps is something which is ensuring that how the typical benefits or how the automations can be done, and these automations are somewhat which is helping the organization to achieve a lot of automations. So DevOps and agile is in combination which every organization is implementing right now, because agile will make sure that the particular iterative approach should be implemented for the development so that they are not stuck into a phase mechanism, and at the same time they are adopting the DevOps tools just to make sure that all the automations can be done and they can improve the overall quality. The automation testing can be done, the deployment automation, the build automation. So all these automations comes under the DevOps particular implementation. So that's the reason why these are all implemented into a combination with each other, and we got it as kind of DevOps and the agile combination which is being implemented into the organization. Now, what exactly is the goals of DevOps here? Now, when we are looking forward for the DevOps implementation, so what are the basic goals which is available there? Now, the first one is the quicker development. Now, the DevOps is something which is forcing or ensuring that they should have a quicker development here. Now, quicker development means that the development process needs to be faster. Now, this development process is something which is being improved by the Agile. So, Agile makes sure that you always have a quicker development implementations there, and that means that the time duration which it takes for the development, so that's something should be quite faster, and that's the reason why Agile is more focusing on to that one and going for the implementations as such there. Why exactly we are saying it's following the quick development over here? Because of the reason that when we are going for the agile implementations, we are having a very small release cycles like of 2 weeks, 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So that means that everything right from the development to the deployment should be done in this release cycle, in this sprint. And that's the reason why it makes sure that the overall development experience is much faster as compared to the waterfall model or the traditional model here. So that's the reason that's a very important benefit which we get from the DevOps. Second one is it provides a faster resolution of problems, because we have a lot of automations like the build automations, the deployment automations, and the test cases automations, which means that with these automations, we get a quick resolution to the problems. There are a lot of problems like, having the functionality issues, the code issues, the deployment issues. So all these issues gets easily identified with the DevOps implementation. So with all these automations in place, the moment you're done with the development, all these automations will help you to understand that, whether these, automations are done in a perfect way or in a particular better way. So if there is any kind of issue with the code, with the compilation, with the test cases, you will be able to know that time itself. So that's the reason why it gives you a faster resolution. Immediately you will know that there is a problem with the source code, you will fix it, and again you will be coming back to the build process as such. So this is the reason why we basically use or go for the implementation of DevOps. Right now, next one is the faster delivery of goods, which means that what exactly implementations we are trying to do, we are trying to perform here. So the release cycles are also quite less. So we are having the release cycles of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, which means that in this sprint duration, you are getting your source code delivered into the production environment. So that's the reason why the faster delivery of the products is being done with the help of this DevOps approach here. more time to additional features, since it's an iterative approach. So it's not like once the particular requirements are fixed, then you cannot go back. You can always have your additional or incremented features which is available there, and you can work on them, and you can start implementing those implementations. So it's all part of the processes when you're trying to do. And you can do the incremental, you can take up the additional requirements, and then you can proceed further with the implementation. So it's all being supported, being implemented as part of the agile and DevOps here, right? And next one is more time to QA, because we have the regression automation, test cases automation, all these different kind of automations going on there, and that's the reason why it gives more time for the QA automations and the testing there. So with this all different automations, it makes sure that the automation can help you to understand that how the quality of the product can be improved. Now you're not talking about the manual testing, we are talking about the automated testing here. So automated testing will always take more time, so you will always get more time for performing the testing with the automation. So that's the reason why DevOps, with all these different CI/CD pipelines, automated testing pipelines, you can make sure that you have more and more time for your testing, and you can proceed with that. So that's the main benefit which we get with this DevOps, right? So overall, if we summarize all the benefits or the goals over here, so the main ultimate goal is to improve the overall quality, and to see that how the we get more time for the testing, and the development can be done in a faster way. So that's the ultimate goal which we get from the DevOps implementation. Now, what are the different DevOps objectives we have? So there are primarily three objectives. The first one is the automation, which we have already discussed, that a lot of DevOps tools are there for the automation perspective. So automation should be required wherever there is manual implementation. We should be going for the automations. Second one is the orchestration. So usually when we work with DevOps and in a production environment, there are so many resources which is there. Let's say like we are talking about Jenkins, we are talking about Kubernetes, we are talking about Ansible, configuration management tools. All these are nothing but the orchestration tools. They are there to manage all these different resources, and they're trying to implement, and they're trying to go with that part, right? So you have the automation, and then you have the orchestration. So all these things are there. So automation makes sure that whatever the implementation you're doing, so that should be done in an effective way. Orchestration will be there to manage the resources, whatever different resources you have, so you can manage those things effectively. And then the last one is the frequency. So whenever we are going for the DevOps implementation, it helps us to go for a shorter frequency of the implementation. So the frequency is something which is very short, very small in case of DevOps. So DevOps typically goes specifically goes for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks of releases frequencies as such here, right? So these are the different DevOps objectives which is available there, which helps us to understand that how we can do the things in an effective way, and how we can go for and complete end-to-end automations as such here. So this is the different DevOps objectives we are talking about here. Now, how we can go for the DevOps implementation, how we can actually achieve the DevOps here. Now, there are a series of steps which you can really do, which we can perform in order to achieve, or in order to go for the implementation of DevOps here. Let's discuss about that one by one. The very first point is the standardization. Now, let's say that I want to automate my deployments. Now, for that, what really we need to do? So our deployment is not something which should change on daily basis. It should not happen that the deployment is getting changed on daily basis, and I have to work on that part. It just required, if I'm doing any kind of automation, that should be standard first. Let's say that I want to do an automation of a deployment. So deployment, if I want to go for an automation, so first of all, it should be done in a standard way. It should be happening in such a way that, okay, whatever the implementations we are doing, whatever the automation we are trying to do here, so that should be standardized first of all. So a should be performed, saying that, okay, these are the series of steps you need to implement, and then only we can do the automation. So that's where the standardization is very important, because without standardization, it will be very difficult for you to have a complete automation. Once the standards has been met and has been designed, so you know that what really you need to automate. So then you can start automating different things like build automations, deployment automations, test cases automations, having the environment set up, implementations, all these different things are there. So these are all part of the implementations which is going on, which ensures that how the implementations can be done. And then we have the collaboration. That's another part, because in the beginning itself, we talked about the DevOps is nothing but a kind of a collaboration. So it's a kind of a collaboration between the dev and the operations over here, and that means that how the teams can come together, different people can come together, and they can have the collaboration and can work on the implementation. So that's where the collaboration is also very important when we talk about the DevOps implementation, right? And all these things are very important for the effective implementation of DevOps. The only thing is that it doesn't mean that if you are going for a specific tool implementation that has any kind of dependency on the DevOps implementation. So DevOps should not be dependent on any specific DevOps tool. So it's a very generic implementation. So even if you are working on one tool and you are going for DevOps implementation with another tool also, you can pretty much do the same implementation without any issues, right? So a DevOps achievement is very important, and it can definitely helps us to see that how the implementations can be done. What are different benefits? There are two typical type of benefits of DevOps. First one is the technical, and the another one is the business. What are the technical benefits? Technical benefits is much faster frequency of the releases, the quality of the code is better, the performance of the product is better there. You get faster resolution of the problems, the complex problems get fixed much faster, development phase is quicker, you get more timing for the testing. Business benefits are only from the monetary perspective. So if you're doing a faster delivery or a quality delivery to the production, definitely the business will be growing. The performance of the product is better, then definitely there will be more popularity of the product. If the product itself is not behaving, is not responding, and it's working, having a better performance, then there will be negative feedback about that, right? So that's the reason why from the business perspective, you should be thinking about on the implementation there. So these are the different category of benefits which we typically get from the DevOps. So this is a complete underline of the DevOps. So you can see that in DevOps each and everything comes up. If we talk about code part only, then agile development is there. If we talk about code, build, and test cases, then we talk about continuous integration. If we talk about the deployment, release, then the continuous deployment. And then if we talk about right from the code to the operations to the monitoring, everything is coming up under the DevOps here. So this is the important process, important screen in slide in which we are talking about that what exactly is in complete implementation right from the code and the operations over here, right? So this is where we call it as an particular implementation, that how the overall implementations is going on over there in this one. So from the code, build, the integration, test, the release, deployment, operation, it's all coming under the DevOps here. Now let's talk about some of the common implementation. When I'm saying that I'm going for the implementation of DevOps, what are the minimum automations we should be looking forward? Out of that, the very first one is a CI/CD automation. CI/CD means that continuous integration and continuous deployment. So this implementation helps the organization to go for the implementation of the build and the deployment automation. So build and deployment automation is something which we are looking forward from this implementation here. Now in this diagram also, we are designing or we are understanding the complete process. So the whole process starts from the coding part. So the developers checks in the source code into the source control system, source control version here. Yeah, source control system. And then once the code is checked in into the source control system, the build gets started, gets initialized. It's an automated trigger. Now this automatic triggers is something which is trying to understand that how the build is going on, the build will run. If there is any kind of issues with the build or the issues is there, so that's where we will see that how the implementation or how we can go for this things here, right? So once the build is running, it will perform the automations, the build automation, the test cases automation. Now depending on the performance, whether the build is success or failed on, it will respond over there. So if the issues is not good, if there is an issue with the application with the source code, it will respond there itself, and then from there we can work on the source code and we can fix it. So whatever whatever issues you're facing, whatever issues you're getting, you will be able to know that part over there. So whenever you're working on this CI/CD automation, so you always make sure that whatever the implementations you're doing, so that will ultimately help you to understand that what is the quality of your source code, what is the quality of your product, and if there is any kind of issues with the source code, you will know there itself, and then you can work on this source code, and you can see that how the overall product can be implemented and can be improved. So this is the continuous integration where we can go for the build and the test cases automation. Next one is the CI/CD pipelines. Again, it's the same slide which we are having over here. We call it as also in CI/CD pipelines. It's just like it's doing only the build, test cases, and depending on that, the success rate is being given. Now, if you also include the continuous deployment or you go for the deployment automation, that's where again we call it as a kind of CI/CD automation. So CI/CD automation is right from the build automation, the executions of the test cases, then the deployment automations. Once the deployment is done, then the deployments is automated, and lastly you will get a notifications saying that whether the whole job is successful or it's a failed process over there. So that's where we call it as a complete CI/CD automation over here. So this slide also, it's talking about the same thing. So it's done in just a different way, that how the implementation is done. Then we have continuous application monitoring, because monitoring is a very important aspect of the DevOps. Now, you may not be directly involved in the monitoring or doing the monitoring of the applications and all, but definitely this is a very important aspect. So once you are doing the deployment, once the deployment is done and you host an application, so monitoring is something which is very important, because it makes sure that yes, whatever product you are hosting, that works perfectly fine in the production environment. If there is any kind of issues with the infrastructure or the application, you should be able to get the notification. So that's the reason why the application monitoring, the continuous monitoring is very important aspect. You may be working on the monitoring there, you may be doing the monitoring manually, or it's like maybe some different professionals are there who are working on the monitoring and they are dealing with that overall monitoring approach. But it's a very important part of the DevOps. So you're just making sure that how the implementations and how the different optimizations are going on, and the different details can be implemented. So you do the deployments, you monitor the infrastructure, and again you do the redeployment and keep on monitoring the infrastructure. So if there is any kind of issues with the application or the infrastructure, you will be able to know that part over there. And then the configuration management tools are there. This category of tools is very important, because it makes sure that how from a single machine you can manage all of your infrastructure without being without getting logged into that particular server or machine there. So configuration management tool helps you to manage the infrastructure, the configurations effectively without doing the stuff manually. So this is a kind of tool which is there in the DevOps here. Then DevSecOps, again a very important aspect, because typically sometimes when we are going for the DevOps implementation, we may not talk about, or we may not include security as in standards, but DevSecOps is something which is making sure that how we can go for an effective implementations with a complete implementation. So DevSecOps focuses on including security as in best practices in the overall DevOps implementation. So that's what we call it as in DevSecOps here. A lot of organizations are actually including the security as in as in basic implementations, but DevSecOps is something which is focusing on how we can include the security aspect to the application, to the environment, and how we can make sure that this environment can be secure and we can follow all the best practices. And then we have a very important aspect nowadays. We call it as in DevChatOps. Now with this DevChatOps, what actually we do, we actually go for the implementation here. So the the person put some chat in the collaboration tools like Slack, Messenger, Teams, HipChat. So they put up a message over there in this tool. Once the message is there, so the bots are going to process that particular messages, and according to that, it may spin up a virtual machine in AWS cloud, maybe running some job, running some Ansible configuration management tool. So these things are what they are typically doing in with the help of the DevChatOps over there. So DevChatOps is something which makes sure that how the implementations we can do over here in this one. So it's a very unique approach nowadays. Maybe not too much implemented, but yes, it's a very interesting factor to be there. Then we have modern concepts like containerization, which is microservices, which is also part of the DevOps, where we are splitting up the monolithic application in small isolated application services, which completely runs isolated from each other. So there is no impact of one service going down on the other service. And these are all mechanisms which is available there. So monolithic and the microservices is something which is being implemented, and we are going for the automations as such. Monolithic and the microservices are both available over here. So some organizations are still working on the monolithic application, but it have a lot of long running issues. So that's the reason why organizations are looking forward for the implementation on having the microservices there. So microservices is something which they are trying to implement as such. Again, cloud computing definitely helps that how the implementations can be done, and how the cloud computing can improve the overall quality of the product. And a lot of organization, even the banking sector, are nowadays exploring the cloud platforms where they can create their infrastructure, they can have their applications hosted, they can scale up their infrastructure. So all these things are happening only with the help of the cloud here. So you can create virtual machines, load balancers, the auto scalings, the Kubernetes cluster, the ECS service, all these features are something which we are getting with the implementation on the cloud computing. So cloud computing really helps the organization to scale their infrastructure, and you to get a particular performance or get a quality in such a way that it can improve the overall experience about the product. So this is where the cloud computing really affects or makes the platform important. So these are the different type of clouds which is available there: public, private, hybrid clouds, which is there. And public, make sure that how the AWS, Azure, and all these are public clouds where you don't have control on the cloud computing, and it's a shared infrastructure on which you host. Then we have private cloud, in which you host the private infrastructure. And then we have a combination of both public and private cloud, known as the hybrid cloud, where some infrastructure is there on public cloud and some infrastructure will be there on the private cloud. So that's where we call it as a particular hybrid cloud there. Different models: IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, software as a service, platform as a service. IaaS service are there. In IaaS service, you get all the infrastructure components like virtual machines, load balancers, and all. In PaaS, you will get the platform as a service, where you can upload your application. Then we have the software as a service, where you can give your softwares as in services. And these are all different things which is available there, just to make sure that how you can get more and more implementations, like you can scale your infrastructure, scale your application. And in some cases, like platform as a service, you don't really need to create any infrastructure. There itself you can host your applications over there. So these are all different particular implementations which is there, which is being implemented as such, right? And DevOps offerings are being provided by the AWS itself. If you don't want to have your Jenkins server and all these different tools there, you can actually pretty much go for the AWS DevOps, which is a ready-made services given to you, in which you can put up like your implementations. You can go for the implementations, and you can have the some basic implementation of DevOps done with the help of AWS cloud. So these are some of the offerings which is there. And ultimately, this is the final slide which is there, which is telling us that what are the different tools which comes up in the DevOps. So you have Git, Subversion, Jira, Maven, Gradle, Selenium, JUnit, Puppet, Chef, Ansible, SaltStack, New Relic, Sensio, Nagios, and finally the integration tool called Jenkins. So all these different tools comes under the same category of DevOps tools. And a lot of tools are actually keep on running, like Docker, Kubernetes. There are different tools which keeps on adding up into this particular part. But it doesn't mean that you always have to implement Jenkins for the DevOps implementation. You may be having the other tools also for the Jenkins implementation. So it's pretty common on that part. So, these are the different tools which comes up in the DevOps category, in the DevOps tools category, which we are trying to implement, right? So with this one, you can ensure that how you can go for an effective implementation of DevOps, and you can go for the implementations from that part there, right? And this is the overall career path of DevOps engineer: the scripting languages, the version, the control systems, the build to automation tools, configuration management tools, CI/CD pipelines, test automations, logging tools, then the database configurations, containerization, container orchestration using Kubernetes, and then finally the cloud computing. So this is the career path. When we say that career path, it means that you have to follow, you have to keep on learning all these different tools step by step, and that makes sure you a complete implementation of a DevOps. So this is the reason why we should be going for the overall implementations of the AWS DevOps over here. So AWS DevOps is something which is ensuring us that how the DevOps implementations can be done with certain AWS tools. And then this is the career path which is available, where you can see that how you can go for the implementation. You can have some particular tools implemented into a particular mechanism, and step by step, when you are learning all these different tools, you will be able to have a complete understanding about the DevOps, that how DevOps goes, and that's kind of understanding there. So this is the overall career path of a DevOps, that how the DevOps really goes on that part. And the job opportunities are very good because of the fact that not a huge amount of DevOps engineers which is there. There are very few DevOps engineers which is available there, and at the same time there is a huge demand of DevOps engineers because of the fact that organizations are readily looking forward for the DevOps implementations going on there. It's a industry standard, so even if you're not willing to do, you have to go with this one. And that's a reason why there is a huge demand of this implementation. When we are saying a huge demand of this implementation, so this is a reason why the different trainings and the implementations, the job opportunities, all these different things are going up into that part there. So when there are very few DevOps engineers which are required as such into an organization. So when I'm saying that in my whole project, I may be requiring only 1 or 2 DevOps engineers as such. So that's the reason why the salary packages are also quite good for the DevOps engineers, because it's not like you will be having 100 and 200 DevOps engineers in an organization. So you will be having very few DevOps engineers which is there in the organization, and that's the reason why the salary packages are also very good for these ones. In fact, the freshers are also having the best packages when they want to go for the DevOps role there. And pretty much this is what we have to talk about the DevOps. Is a kind of a detailed understanding about DevOps, what is happening inside DevOps, and when I go for the DevOps implementation, so what are the different basic implementations we are trying to implement when we are going for the DevOps there. So DevOps implementation needs the CI/CD automations, containerization, the orchestration tools, the test cases automations, continuous monitoring, and the different implementations over there. So this is what we typically need when we go for the DevOps implementation, and for that you have different tools, different DevOps tools over there.